Until recently, there has been an ongoing battle between the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bureau de Change operators in Nigeria since the beginning of the year. This started when the Central Bank of Nigeria made attempts to halt the free fall of naira and ascribed some of the reasons for the depreciation of the free fall of naira to the Bureau de Change operators in the country. This is MarketSquare X. I am glad to have you join me on the show today. On the show today, I have a guest that we will be looking into this in details. My name is Oluwapelumi Awe, and trust me, I'm delighted to have you join me even as we discuss this critical issue. There's a lot to say about the relationship between the Bureau de Change operators in Nigeria and the Central Bank of Nigeria, but just going straight to the conversation with my guest today. My guest is the president of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria. Welcome, Alhaji Aminu Gwadabe. Welcome, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for giving us this opportunity to at least explain to the public the issues in the foreign exchange market, the relationship between the Bureau de Change and the central bank, the role of Bureau de Change in the market, and so forth and so forth.
Thank you very much for coming on the show, Alhaji. So let's start from this angle. What is the role of the Bureau de Change operators in the foreign exchange market in any country? So what is the role of Bureau de Change operators in the foreign exchange market and by extension in the economy?
Okay, thank you very much. This is a beautiful question, the role of Bureau de Change in the economy and globally. First, let me define what a Bureau de Change is. A Bureau de Change is a small retail company that is licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to engage in the following transactions or in the following scope of business. First is to ensure for the payment of personal traveling allowance. Maybe you are traveling and you are going to America, of course, you will not carry naira. You are going to London, you will not carry naira because naira is not convertible. So when you go to those countries, you must be able to have a currency that will be convertible so that you pay for your hotels and some of your needs while you are away for your traveling. So a Bureau de Change is meant to meet that critical retail end of the market. It's a need, it's a legitimate need. You are traveling, you need to have money for your expenses. Also, it deals with a business traveling allowance. This one is like, okay, you have a business meeting in China, your own partners have invited you, you want to go to China to have a business discussion, and you need some protocol, you need some expenses, money to carry along. You can't go to China with naira because it's not convertible. So for government to ensure that these retail needs are being met through the Bureau de Change, that is how the Bureau de Change were licensed so that they can meet those needs of the public. Then also school fees. You have your children abroad that is schooling and that you need to pay school fees. Then the next person you need to satisfy that services for you, to satisfy that need, you can go to a Bureau de Change and ensure that you pay for your school fees. These are retail legitimate needs of the market. Also, you are having a medical issue, you want to go to hospital in India, you can go to a Bureau de Change, you have your hospital invoice, you are traveling, the Bureau de Change should be able to meet that your need for medical expenses. There is also subscription. Like you now, you are a journalist, maybe you are affiliated to a foreign organizations, and you need to pay for your subscription. You should be able to come to a Bureau de Change and meet such need. These are the operational roles of Bureau de Change in terms of space, in terms of allowable transaction by the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Thank you for listing. Yes, thank you for listing that so clearly, and I think it's clear to our viewers the role of Bureau de Change operators within any country. You mentioned about going for medical care, traveling out of the country. These are bodies that have been operators that have been licensed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to carry out exchange. But we have seen over the course of about 2-3 months now, from January, that the Nigerian naira has depreciated at some point and is now gaining value again now. So from your position as the president of the Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, what would you say has led to the recent appreciation of the Nigerian naira against dollar?
First, let us go back to the root causes analysis. What is the cause? Because you cannot have just the results without going back to the causes. The root causes is what you analyze for you to come up with a solution. Like you said, there are many reasons, many factors behind volatility. There are people behind it, like most Nigerians lost hope and confidence in the local currency. That lead to currency substitution. Many Nigerians were running from holding naira position. They are hedging, they are converting their naira, what we call currency substitution, into other foreign currencies, into dollars, into pounds. We have even seen Nigerians saving their naira into SEFA. This SEFA that we don't even have a value before, but it becomes a currency of value just because our own local currency is depreciating. Inflation have eaten it away. We have seen inflation raising over 30-something% in our economy. So a lot of people are running away from this loss of value of their naira. That is people behind that volatility. Then you also have international traders, people that want to buy dollars, people that want to come in and invest dollars in this country. That is where speculation comes in. People are now hedging. People are now buying what they don't need because their currency is depreciating value all the time. So it's very, very difficult to plan. The issue is not the exchange rate. What is the exchange rate doing? The issue is stability. Manufacturers need to know that the exchange rate is stable so that they can plan for 6 months, 1 month, immediate time, medium time, and long time. Investors want to come in. They cannot come into an economy where there is no certainty, where there is no definite stability of the exchange rate. When they want to come in, if they want to exist, they don't know at what rate they are going to exist. So this discourages them. So these are many of the reasons that cause this volatility. And volatility is like a run of water. Erosion. If you do not direct it, it will direct itself. I don't want to go into historical factors. Nigeria is a manufacturing economy that depended heavily on one source of income, which is the proceeds of crude oil. And the currency of import is the United States American dollar. Nigeria is highly dependent to the toothpick that we use in this country, to the milk that our baby take. It's all imported in this country. So we need a lot of foreign exchange. And unfortunately, we only have one sources, which account for 80% of our foreign exchange income, which is the crude oil. Anytime there is fall in crude oil prices, Nigeria must sneeze because we depended solely 80% of our revenue base, of our buffers, is dependent on one sources. And speculators use their buffer value, their foreign reserve, to determine how long, how effective can you defend your local currencies. Anytime your local currency is going down, their buffers are not strong. Speculators, both internally and externally, we hedge against you because they know you don't have the arsenal, you don't have the weapons to defend your local currency. So those, and the elephant in the house that caused this volatility, I always say, is the prospect of an earned income. The value of the naira is not because of the demand for dollar. The value of the naira is because of the unearned income that is pursuing dollar. You cannot have an indisciplined fiscal space and you think your monetary policies can be effective. There is no any monetary policy that can be effective if the fiscal space, the fiscal discipline is not there. So there must be a linkage between the monetary policies and the fiscal policies. What do you mean by strong fiscal policies? You must ensure there is transparency, there is accountability in your expenditure, there is monitoring, there is every kind of corporate governance. Is key, is important. We have to move away from corruption. Corruption is the elephant in the house. And once we can nip in the bud corruption, I can assure you the value of the naira will continue to be stronger and stronger and stronger. Then, next to your own question, what happened that we are seeing the naira is appreciation?
Yes, please.
There is no any economic fundamental that hitherto supported the depreciation of our local currency. It's because of some illegal economic behaviors that we found ourselves where we are in the last 3 months we have spoke about. The illegal behavior of currency substitution, and that is rational human being. You know, yes, it's illegal for you to substitute your own currency to another foreign currency. You cannot tell me an American now will be buying pounds against dollars, or a Briton will be buying pounds against dollars. I mean, dollars against pounds. It's not allowed. It's an illegal economic behavior. But you see, it's a liberal, it's a rational thing. I cannot be facing inflation, my savings is depleting, and I cannot hedge. It's a rational behavior, but it's an illegal economic behavior. Also, the proceeds of the, what is it called? The corruption is an illegal behavior. So on, so on, so on.
Okay.
So what happened first? There is, imagine even the activities of unlicensed platforms. Is it Binance? Binance have caused a lot of panic issues. In fact, right from Aboki, we all remember how Mefele was advising the MD of Aboki that is ready. If he's ready, let him come meet him in the office. Let them fight to show you the menace of online platforms. Number one, they are beyond jurisdictions. They have no boundaries. They are risky. They are not monitored. You don't know even who mined them. So these are some of the challenges behind virtual assets.
Okay.
Yet, the Financial Action Task Force have accepted that there should be regulation. So the central bank have come with a lot of policies, mixtures of nuggets that we have seen why there is naira availability. I mean, naira stability today.
True.
Is it from the net open position? Is it from treasury bills? They have been issuing treasury bills, securities, and these treasury bills have been oversubscribed. Over $1 billion, $1.5 billion. The presidency has been globetrotting all over the continent, giving confidence to investors that Aminu should have existed. During those periods, over $300 billion have been existed out of this country by foreign investors. Now they are coming back. Confidence is being built both by the Central Bank of Nigeria and also the government. So a lot of investors are coming to invest in our securities, and that is giving huge liquidity into the system.
Yeah, in your recent statement, you mentioned that the recall of the Bureau de Change operators has had a significant impact on dollar liquidity at the retail end of the forex market. And I also recall that your association has been at the forefront of the campaign for Bureau de Changers to be included formally into the currency markets. I want to ask you to tell us why the Bureau de Change operators were banned initially. What must have led to that? And why do you think the ban was lifted by the Central Bank of Nigeria?
Well, first and foremost, the reason, I'm not the regulator that gives license. The regulator came up first with generalization of stigmatization. What I mean by stigmatization, they were saying that the Bureau de Change are involved in terrorism financing. The Bureau de Change are involved with money laundering. The Bureau de Change lack corporate governance. The Bureau de Change are not complying with AML, CFT, anti-money laundering, and anti-terrorism financing, anti-proliferation of financing weapons of mass destruction, involved in a lot of money laundering activities as convicts, or what do you call them, as prosecution witnesses. Also, the fear of the security agencies is that most of the time when they are investigating other stolen funds, by the time it reaches to a Bureau de Change, that's where the investigation will stop. Also, the regulators like the central bank will say that the numbers are too many for them, they cannot monitor them. There's no kind of explanation that was not given to justify the reason why Bureau de Change are being called the black box. However, you see, you cannot license an institution like the Prime Minister of UK cannot come out to the media and say Travelex, which is a bureau de change in the United Kingdom, is involved in money laundering. This is this is image of the country. So I'm not justifying that the bureau de change are clean or are not making mistakes. Not long ago, there is a statistic from the EFCC that says 70% of financial crime is coming from that institution. So you see, crime is a dynamic thing. It's cut across all the society. And this is a country that is practicing, what do you call it, capitalism. There is no patriotism in capitalism. So looking at the end as the root causes of the problem, first I want to say is a wrong thing to do. And experiences have now vindicated, if you really change, the kind of discrimination that are receiving from the public, from the media, from the security agencies, from the regulators are not the true reflection of what is happening. We have seen the root causes of why there is volatility. It is caused by people, it is caused by policies, it is caused by even government. So it's not right to just select a sector, a small subsector, and put all the blame on that sector. I'm not unaware of the mutual evaluation report of the Financial Action Task Force, whereby it stated that the bureau de change are the weakest chain, and which led to even grey listing of the country. Yes, I'm aware of that. Yes, I know the bureau de change lack corporate governance. They are lacking in skills and knowledge. Also, there are many. I agree with that there are many without skills. So, but on our own as the association, like we started, we did not fight any battle. We are a professional association. What we do, we come out with knowledge-based arguments to present to the public, to present to the legislators, to present to the regulators themselves. So it's not like we're battling, but we're presenting knowledge-based approach. We're using cross-jurisdictions analysis. There is no place you can travel on this earth that you cannot see bureau de change. These are institutions, like when I started, I defined them as retail institutions that meet the retail legitimate need of the public. So they have the compassion, they have the accessibility, they have the network. Not everybody, because he needed $200, can now go to the bank with their tie, with their division of their thing. You cannot even see the officer that is even paying you the money. There is already a wall separating you between you and him. You have to be afraid. There is no compassion in that kind of services. So the BDC are compassionate. They have accessibility. They understand the retail market. These are part of the role they are playing. So, and they have played this role. Like I've told you, the government allow bureau de change to be in the official market because of their efficacy. The bureau de change, they can be crude, but they are the most effective in ensuring there is need of volatility, control of volatility, in ensuring there is liquidity in the market. Because they are like buy and dump. A real bureau de change is not into hoarding. It's not into speculation. You just do your business spot transaction. You buy and make a smaller margin. Any bureau de change that is doing hoarding is an illegal economic behavior.
I think you have just mentioned. Yeah, I think I've just mentioned something that has been said by many as an economic behavior that contributed to how that naira depreciated. And one of the points that was mentioned was hoarding. It means creating artificial scarcity so that you can increase price. You can increase the cost of getting what you want. And then something else has been said is rent seeking. Something else has been round tripping. But like you rightly mentioned, that there is no country in the world that doesn't have bureau de change operators, people who serve the immediate need of quick consumers, final consumers. And even the Central Bank of Nigeria revoked the license of about 4,173 bureau de change operators over their failure to meet regulatory measures. I mean, I was checking the internet. I checked the internet yesterday, and I realized that you have names like Freezer, Deep Freezer, LLT. You have Rice and Beans LLT. These are names of bureau de change operators in Nigeria, and the Central Bank of Nigeria had to, in a way, revoke the license of some of these guys, and now we have about 1,115 from the initial 5,690. So I'm asking, this move by the Central Bank of Nigeria, what do you think? What's your perspective of this move to cut down the list of bureau de change operators in Nigeria? And even so, what's the process of becoming an operator in that space in Nigeria? What's the process to getting to the point where you get licensed and all?
First, you see, as an association, as a proactive association, we are professional, and we are an umbrella body organization of the license bureau de change by the Central Bank of Nigeria. We are also a self-regulatory organization. The Financial Action Task Force recommendation 14 about recognize associations as industrial association. And what that means is that you have to have the listening of the collaborators, especially the regulators, the security agencies, because we are also part of a global financial architecture. So having said that, the association have been working, also having good relationship with the central bank and security agencies. Yes, of course, even before the establishment of the central bank, in fact, the Central Bank of Nigeria was established as a result of reforms. We used to have over 180 banks in the 50s. We used to have naira and kobo. Sometimes the thing that make me laugh is the regulatory names that people will say, prayer, freezer, and what. We used to have naira. Yes, we used to have naira and kobo bank. We used to have all funny names before. And you see, these names, before they even come into operation, they have gone through processes. You cannot just wake up today, my brother, and say, okay, I want to license Aminu Bureau de Change. You have to take that name to the central bank. Central bank will first approve that name for you. And that is when you get that approval of the name, that will now go to CAC, Corporate Affairs Commission, to even not register the company now. What do you call it? To book it. To book the company as CAC. Then you now go back to Central Bank of Nigeria and say, okay, this name that you have approved for me, I'm going to CAC to block it. You are not registering because you are yet to have the license. But to block that name so that another person will not go and use the same name to come to Central Bank and get that license. So when you do that, that's when you come back to Central Bank and submit your application for the licensing of Bureau de Change. The requirements are many, but you can see them if you Google the Central Bank website, www.centbank.org. You will see all the requirements of licensing a Bureau de Change. If you Google it, it's very simple. You see the requirement of licenses of Bureau de Change. It starts with at least an application. You now write an application with the Central Bank of Nigeria that you have the intention to open a Bureau de Change. There are a lot of financial requirements. There are a lot of documentation requirements. The same way you register a company with CAC, with shareholders, with directors. Those are the steps you will take. Then the CBN, after meeting some of the first requirements, they will give you what we call AIP, approval in principle. Then later on, the capitalization now, which there is a new draft of 2 billion by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the capitalization before the suspension of licenses. The CBN, after even suspending the operation, the window of the Central Bank, they have also suspended the licenses of Bureau de Change. Yes. So before that licensing, the capitalization used to be 35 million naira, and then you have to show evidence, even though that has been also cancelled before the suspension of issuance of the license, the evidence of 35 million naira caution deposit. So what you do now, you have to show evidence of your capitalization to the Central Bank of Nigeria. You have to show the contributions of the shareholders, say of the 35 million. I don't know what will be the new capitalization now. So you have to have the shareholders. Each shareholder will pay his own for shares. those money, you now compile them, gather them in your own statement. Maybe you are the promoter. Then you present to the central bank, this is your application, and these are your shareholders. These are their identification. Each shareholder, you must give his own identification, his own ID card, his curriculum vitae, so that to do fit and proper check. In licensing any financial institution, that's what we call fit and proper check. Then the central bank will conduct their fit and proper check. If you are fit and proper, then they will go ahead and issue approval in principle. Then they will now come and do visit, spot check of your office, of your furniture, to see your readiness for takeoff. Then from there, they will go back and issue the final license. These are the summary in brief. Like I said, you can get more details if you visit the CBN website, www.sembank.org. You ask licensing requirement for a bureau de change in Nigeria. The details are there in full.
Certainly.
So,
certainly, Alhaji. Now, the last question I have for you would be that we have seen how, and just like you rightly said in your publication, that the relationship between the healthy relationship or the growing relationship between the bureau de change operators and the Central Bank of Nigeria has contributed to the appreciation of the Nigerian naira. I'm going to ask you now, how do you think this relationship can even blossom some more? Because it would be a great thing to see how this relationship between the Central Bank of Nigeria and the BDCs improve, so that it's for the good of our nation, actually. So how do you think, first question, how do you think this relationship can blossom even more? And number two, what else do you think the Central Bank of Nigeria can do to even appreciate, to ensure that our naira keeps appreciating by the day?
First, we are still in celebration galore. The association and its members are happy, especially to the central bank for achieving this fiat. It has never happened in decades where the open market rate is even lower than the official rate. As we speak, the open market rate, which is known as the parallel market rate, is cheaper than even what the bureau de change are buying from the CBN window. The parallel market rate, as we speak, is at 250. It was 245 yesterday, 1245 yesterday to the dollar, while the applicable exchange rate for the bureau de change to the public is 1,269. So it's the first time. We congratulate the central bank, we congratulate the presidency, we congratulate the security agencies. It's a combination of many factors. And also we congratulate our members because it's the policy that broke the camel back. I've told you, we have done it several times. We have the trajectory, we have the context. Everybody knows once you want to fight hoarding, you want to fight speculation, you want to fight online operators, empower the bureau de change, and you see wonders, you see magic. And we have proven, we have vindicated that we can do it, and we'll continue to do it. We are assuring the central bank, we are assuring the presidency. Yes, they are looking at us as crude, but we are the most effective in terms of fighting other illegal masses that are giving our naira problem. They should give us that trust. Then, what would the central bank is going to do to ensure that this tempo is maintained? One, I am happy the first time also the new management of the central bank gave us the opportunity to put our input in their new guidelines draft. A guideline draft has been introduced, has been released by the central bank on how to make the bureau de change operate as a global institution, empower it in terms of its sources. We used to have a very limited sources, which is most of the bureau de change. The business model is because the central bank is paying money to bureau de change. That's why they're into existence. Once that is withdrawn, you will see them going into oblivion. They will go extinct. So now the new reform is that there are a lot of sources, credible opportunities in terms of sources. You are now an agent of an MTSO. You can even buy from the interbank as an institution. You can buy from the domiciliary account. So this is a business, a trading business, not a business of casino, whereby you already have a model, a kind of traditional model. The whole purpose of licensing bureau de change, even in the 1980s, is to formalize the informal sector. The then former president Major General Ibrahim Babangida was the one that brought the issue of licensing the religion, and the objective then is to formalize an informal sector. And they exist all over the world, and we have seen it. So the central bank should continue to partner, should continue to see how they increase corporate governance of the Bureau de Change, should continue to give them credible opportunities. Then two, Nigeria, like I've said from my opening interview, is a monocultural economy. It's a dependent economy. We need to have a paradigm shift in the sources of our foreign exchange earning. We need to de-risk our export. Unfortunately, with all the potentials we have in agribusiness, with all the potential we have in IT, with all the potential we have in solid minerals, our contribution, our non-oil export contribution to the GDP is no more than 4%. This is quite unfortunate. It's abysmal. It's small. So we need to de-risk our non-oil export process by way of guarantee, by way of issuing bonds in terms of standardization, in terms of quality. Most of our non-oil export products, imagine people will buy what is it, yam, and go to Ghana and wash it and package it and put that yam made in Ghana. You go to Canada, you will buy yam made in Ghana, while the origin of that yam is in Nigeria. And Ghana, we have the export proceeds from Canada because the origin was said that yam was made in Ghana. When we talk of yam, where is Ghana in terms of production of yam? So, but you can see countries just because of packaging, just because of de-risking their export proceeds, they are making it for their own citizens. So the government, the central bank should de-risk non-oil export. We have art. We have this our youth that are gifted in music, in art, in IT. So we can begin to export even human beings. What is Bangladesh doing? Go to Saudi Arabia. A lot of the cleaners in Saudi Arabia are from Bangladesh. And Bangladesh is earning huge remittances from salary payment, home remittances by their own citizens that are working in Saudi Arabia. So why can't we develop a model that we can start exporting our youth? They are here running up and down, going from one office to another. Let us empower them, and they will become export potentials. We can export brain. Who said we cannot export brain? Then also the hanging fruit is diaspora remittances. And I'm happy now the new opportunity given to the Bureau Change is that the agent of diaspora remittances proceed. Nigeria is number 3 in terms of diaspora remittances proceed. After China, India is China. It's Nigeria. Then Philippines is number 4. All these countries, Ghana is leveraging over $40 billion annually to enhance infrastructure. The profit of diaspora remittances going through India development of infrastructure is about $40 billion annually. Here, Nigeria were only seeing $3.5 billion, $4 billion. And the quantum of diaspora remittances that Nigerians are sending is far about $23 billion annually. But most of it doesn't come to this country. It's what is called externalized. It is being kept abroad, be used to even import banned items, maybe, if possible, even access to terrorists and money launderers.
Thank you very much.
We should harness this money, is the hanging fruit, and bring products that we encourage Nigerians to. And I can assure you that the Bureau de Change, with the new reform, we are going to attract, no dollar will be diverted. All the $24 billion they have several represent by empowering the Bureau de Change will come into this country. It's cheap, it's big, and it's fast.
Now, just like you said, Alhaji, at some point when you were giving your final remark as to the fact that we have the low-hanging fruit there is diaspora remittances, which is very cool because we have so many of our people outside the country, and then putting money back into the country will only help us build more stuff here, improve our economy in many ways than one. And I think something else that we also may need to add to the fact that Bureau de Change operators in Nigeria may need to go through a system of training to ensure that they pass through it. I mean, if you want to play football, for instance, there's a training. If you want to be a coach, for instance, in football, there's a training you have to go through that certifies you enough.
Let me tell you one story.
Okay.
In 2019, we have applied for Foreign Exchange Retailers Institute. We have secured the approval of the Federal Ministry of Education. We have secured the approval of Federal Ministry of Justice. We have secured the approval of Corporate Affairs Commission. But the only people who are waiting for now to give us the approval is the Central Bank of Nigeria. So we have been training our members in terms of skills, in terms of knowledge. So I quite agree with you. In fact, what we are going to be asking next is an act of the parliament to empower this institute, because it's a dynamic space. You can't come in without knowing the skills,
Definitely.
without knowing the rope.
Definitely.
You need to know the rope. We are talking of a financial services. It's not like selling tomato or selling beans in the market. So it's a special services,
surely,
which you must have to discuss. Wow. So we want to use this medium for the central bank to look into our request. Definitely. So that they can. It's only no objection that we're looking for, to float an institute for a retail exchange that can help to put this skill gap. It's very important. Definitely. As an association, we have known about it and we're working on it, and we're training our members. We're doing sensitization. Right now, we're doing a training to improve the return rendition of our members. We have just had one of Abuja and the central bank that are suspecting. We are also doing the one of Kano and Oka, the same date on the 17th of this month. We are also going to do for Lagos. So we are doing training. We are putting skills for our members. But like you said, we need more, and we need the cooperation of the government and the regulators.
Definitely. Big kudos to you for that. Alhaji Aminu, the president of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, thank you for joining me on the show today.
I'm very grateful for giving us this time to also showcase our strengths and also request for partnership from the relevant authorities.
Definitely.
And also the media. We appreciate the media, all of you. Without you, we will not be known. We cannot sell our strength to the public. So we definitely sincerely appreciate the collaboration.
Thank you. Now, if you're watching on YouTube or if you're listening to this on Spotify, I trust you had a good time listening to the conversation with Alhaji Aminu. Now, do have to follow us on all our social media platforms to get updates every time we post quality content like this. My name is Oluwa Kwelubi. I will see you on the next one.